This is an introduction on how to use Classkick. So what I've done is I've put some equations together, and we're going to solve some equations. So this goes back quite a ways in terms of some of you, but just to be able to solve equations. And you'll notice over here on the left side of my document here, I have the old word PEMDAS. Okay, so if you remember being able to solve equations, you have to be able to use PEMDAS. And if you remember, PEMDAS is our order of operations. It starts with parentheses, then it goes to exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And if you remember, also don't forget that multiplication and division, they're on the same plane. So they're together. So if all you have there is multiplication and division, you always go left to right first. And then addition and subtraction, they're also the same. So you also, again, if you were to solve just a numeric expression, you would go left to right. Okay, so now as I look at these, I'm using PEMDAS backwards. Now, in order for me to use PEMDAS backwards, I'm always going to start with any addition and subtraction I can do first. So as I go through and I look at some of these things, there's kind of some steps that I want to look at. First, you want to see if you can combine like terms. CLT is what I call it, combine like terms. Is there anything on the same side of the equation that I could put together, okay, to make it one term as opposed to 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it may be, okay? Then once I get done with combine like terms, I'm going to look at using PEMDAS backwards. So I would go addition, subtraction, then I would go multiplication, division, okay? So as we look here at the first example, we have x minus 4 plus 5x equals 14. First thing I want to look at is, can I combine any like terms? As I'm looking here at this equation, are there like terms on one side of the equal sign? So a lot of times you'll see me draw this line down the equal sign. That's the divider line, one side to the other, okay? So on the left side, do you see anything here that we can combine? Well, I see two things that are like terms. I have an x here and I have a 5x. How do I know those are like terms? They're same variables and they have the same exponent. So these two things right here, x and the positive 5x, I'm going to go ahead and combine those and make those 6x. 1x plus 5x is 6x. Okay? So now, once I've done combining like terms, okay, I can now try and get the variable by itself. So I'm doing PEMDAS backwards. So I'm looking for addition or subtraction. Well, here we have a subtraction of 4 or negative 4. What is the opposite of negative 4? Well, that's positive 4. So that tells me what I'm going to do. So I'm going to add 4 to that left side. But if I do it on the left side of that line, of this line that I've drawn out here, this line right here, if I do it on the left side of that line, I have to do it on the right side with my like terms. So I have to add 4 over here to the right as well. I got to keep that equation balanced up. So my 6x carries down, nothing happened to that. The positive and negative 4 make 0. They're going to cancel out. And 14 and 4 is now 18. Okay? Now I've eliminated any addition or subtraction that's there. Now I'm looking multiplication and division. Well, this is a multiplication problem. 6 times x, that's multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplication? Well, that's division. So I'm going to divide by 6. Well, if I do it on the left, again, I have to do it on the right. So I'm going to divide by 6 here. 6's over here cancel out. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So that's an x left over. 18 divided by 6 is a 3. Okay, and I find that my answer is x equals 3. Now, how do I check that? I can always plug that back into my original equation, and I should get 14. So I'll look at this. 3 goes in for x minus 4 plus 5 times 3. Okay. Again, PEMDAS, except this time I'm using from the top, so I got to go parentheses, 5 times 3. So this is 3 minus 4 plus 15. Left to right, since this is addition and subtraction, negative 1 plus 15 and that's positive 14. These two match up to each other, so I check my answer. Okay, so now I want you to complete questions 2 and 3 on your class kick.